Hey guys, it's Daniel from CPC. So in today's video, I wanted to cover how you would go and lower your Google Ads CPC. CPC is quite an interesting topic because a lot of businesses do struggle with having a high CPC when they start their Google Ads account. There are certain steps you can take in decreasing the CPC, whether you're a brand new account or you've been running your ads for a while. I'm going to cover some of those points that connect with that. So starting off, a big thing that I've seen decrease my CPC was keyword quality score. Keyword quality score is basically a ranking that Google gives you based on 3 metrics. Number 1, expected click-through rate. Number 2, ad relevance. And number 3, landing page experience. You're going to want to get your keyword quality score as high as possible because the higher that it is, the more you can compete with competitors and get more clicks to your site because you're going to be showing up in auctions more because of your keyword quality score. Google does take this quite heavily into effect. So even if you have a significantly lower click-through rate compared to a competitor, if you have double the keyword quality score, you're going to show up in more auctions and actually get more traffic than he would, even though his ads do get more clicks to impressions, which is click-through rate. Okay, so how you can take a look at your actual keyword quality score, you're going to want to go into your campaigns, ad group, and then search keywords, okay? From that point, you can go into, what is this called? Columns, and then quality score. And then we can say quality score, expected click-through rate, ad relevance, and the landing page experience, okay? Click apply. And right here, you would see your ranking for all of these keywords. If you don't see anything like I do here, it's just because you don't have enough data in your account yet and you haven't got enough impressions or clicks for those keywords. But you're going to see different rankings for each of these different columns. Quality score, like I said, will be the average between all of these 3 metrics, and you're going to want to focus on them heavily. The way that you can improve your ad relevance would be by adding dynamic keyword insertions. So the way you can do that is go into ads and then click edit. And from this point, I'll show you how to add a dynamic keyword insertion. So I already have one here, but the way that you would add it would be shift and then the squiggly bracket. And then you're going to want to press keyword insertion. There's a couple other interesting things here as well. You can do a countdown timer or a location insertion. In this case, I'm just going to cover how to do a keyword insertion. So we're going to click this, and then you can type in the keyword that you have. So for example, this ad group is targeting martial arts in the Toronto area. So if we see that we have a keyword called martial arts near me, and we only have like a 3 or 4 out of 10 ranking for this, and we can put that exact keyword right here. Let's just say martial arts Toronto. And as the ad runs, our keyword quality score for this specific keyword will improve. I recommend adding a couple of these per ad that you have. That way, again, it pairs in with the algorithm and it allows you to improve that score overall. This will play in with expected click-through rate as well, because as ad relevance improves, you're probably going to see more click-through rates coming in as well, a higher click-through rate coming in as well. The way that you can actually improve your click-through rate would be through ad copy testing. So what I usually do is I duplicate an ad, and the only thing, I'll show you how to do that first. Say copy, paste. And then make sure you click this because we still want to have both of the ads running at the same time. Okay, and now that we have that second ad up, what you're going to want to do is go into the second ad and only focus on changing one thing. So when you are split testing your ads, you can only change one metric at a time. Because let's say you change something on your landing page and you change something in your headlines, you're not going to know what change actually made the difference and improved or decreased the performance of your ads. So something I have done in the past that's worked is, let's say I have a certain call to action. So I would pin it in a certain position and test it and see if this ad is actually getting a higher click-through rate. Okay. And by split testing your ads, you can overall increase your click-through rate. You can test other types of headlines as well. So about your service, like if you're saying self-defense classes near you, maybe make this more specific to your actual business, like say Muay Thai classes near you. and that might improve your click-through rate as well because it's more specific to the searcher. Again, the way that you figure out what type of headlines work the best is honestly just through split testing. And the more split tests you can run, the higher click-through rate you can achieve, and overall the higher keyword quality score will be, so your CPC will be lower. That being said, it's the same thing for descriptions. General practice, I usually do pin the more so call to action descriptions into the second spot. And the first one is more of an informative one, telling the person a bit about our business. So for example, what we have here is learn martial arts, find your community, and make new connections. We don't really have a call to action directly to the website there. Like, we're not telling the user what we want them to do when they click. For example, here, we want the person to receive their 3 free trials for their class. So when they click, we want to take them to that specific page on the landing page and redeem their 3 free classes. Again, these are just sample descriptions. I would recommend really focusing in on what you write and making it specific to your business. And when you're, like I said, when you're conducting these split tests, you might want to do a headline test for a specific period of time, maybe a couple weeks. As long as you're getting around 1,000 impressions, from that point you can make a calculated decision, and then from this point you can start split testing your description. So after you've figured out some headlines, you're like, okay, maybe I want to try some descriptions. That's another split test you can run. And again, when you're running your split tests, you might not notice that big of a change. So maybe the issue wasn't your headlines. Maybe the issue was in your descriptions. And then from that point, okay, if it's not your descriptions, then maybe it's your landing page. By split testing, you can narrow down the exact issue that you're having. So if you're struggling with one of these metrics, you want to split test one at a time. The key with these Google Ads campaigns is definitely patience. You have to wait and see what the data tells you. And from that point, you can make an informed decision, because once you do have your strategy down, these campaigns can be really, really profitable. Okay. So that would cover our quality score component for expected click-through rate and ad relevance. You can read more about this just in your account, but I do recommend having these columns open and this setting. Another thing you should take a look at is your landing page. So this does play a very, very big role. Your landing page should contain keywords that you're actually targeting in your ad. So make sure that it contains at least a couple of your best performing ones and you're repeating them there, even your headlines as well. That way Google can recognize, okay, this guy is targeting exactly what this person is searching because their landing page has this type of content or this type of images. So that goes in with the creatives that you have and the keywords that you have. It has to be relevant to what the person is searching. Be very, very conscious of the ad copy or the landing page copy that you have. And you want to make it as relevant to the ad as possible. Again, the only way that you can perfect this is through testing, but you don't want to do that too quickly. Once you see that your quality score is quite low, and you might see keyword, or it's something around like low search impression limited to keyword quality score, you'll see something like that, something like around here. Okay, and it'll say something about quality score. From that point, you're going to want to take a look and see how you can improve that. Okay, and then another component that goes into your CPC would be your CPC limits. So this is a bit more obvious, but if you're setting max CPC limits, you're setting a cap at which you can spend per click. So that would be, for example, in this campaign, because this is a new campaign I'm running with no conversion data in this account, I could set a max CPC limit if I don't want to spend above a specific amount. So for now, I just left it broad, but you can set your CPC based on the industry standard that you have or just personal preference that you don't want to spend. Just know that if you set your CPC too low, then you won't be able to get impressions for your ads because competitors will be paying much more for it. And the actual CPC limit that you're setting coincides with how much your ads are going to show in the auction. So again, it really depends on your industry as well. In certain industries, you can have like an 80-90 cents cost per click. In some, it's a bit higher. And in some, it's even lower. It really depends. But if you're following all these points when it comes to keyword quality score, your CPC will definitely decrease. I was working on an account as well that had quite a high CPC, and they weren't even able to run their ads just because their keyword quality score was not high at all. And that was really prohibiting with their ability to actually rank on Google for their program. And so what I did was I included these dynamic keyword insertions like I showed you in the ads. And then within a couple of weeks, we were already seeing much better results. CPC literally sliced in half from that point. But it can be something as simple as that, like a fix like that. Luckily, I just understood what was wrong with that campaign, and it was within the ads. But again, diagnosing the type of issue that you have with your CPC is really important. Like, think about what type of factors could be going into your high CPC. So is it because your ad copy is not super relevant? Or is it because your landing page isn't super relevant to what people are searching? Are you targeting keywords that aren't relevant to what you're offering? Things like that. And you want to narrow down specifically, because especially with Google search, you want to be as relevant as possible. You want to be targeting the people that are most likely to convert on your website. That's what your objective should be, at least, to get conversions, to get lead form submissions or purchases. And you want to find your best performing keywords. And from that point, they'll usually be a bit lower in cost. And from that point, you just want to find your best performing keywords and continue bidding on them. Another thing that goes into keywords would actually be the matching types. So exact match keywords are more expensive than phrase or broad match keywords, because exact is just extremely specific. It's in the name itself. But broad or phrase, it could be keywords around what you're targeting. So for best practice, I usually keep most keywords on phrase, and then I do 2 tester keywords in most campaigns, 2 to 3, with broad match, just targeting just related to the main services that I'm offering. That way I can see organically like what type of search terms I'm getting. And then from that point, I can filter it and switch those keywords to phrase match and add some of these search terms as keywords if I found a new opportunity or I'm getting a lot of impressions for a certain search term that is extremely relevant for my business. So that's another way you can kind of do keyword research, is honestly just by testing. But initially, the way that you want to find keywords would be through the Google Keyword Planner. In the Google Keyword Planner, you can also see the CPC for each individual keyword. And from that point, you can also make decisions on which keywords to add in your campaign. Another thing that you can do to lower your CPC is actually setting a target CPA or target ROAS. And you can see that you can set that based on if you're running a maximize conversions or a maximize conversion value campaign. At that point, you can tell Google, okay, I don't want to spend more than this specific amount without reaching X conversions or X sale value. And by telling Google that, it's going to optimize for spending that amount of money. It's not going to get you conversions, or it's going to try at least not to get you conversions higher than that amount that you set. So if you've really hit a perfect target CPA, then your CPC won't be exceptionally high either, because you're giving Google enough space to actually spend money and find the person who's going to be likely to convert. But if you set your target CPA too low, then you're not going to give Google enough spending power, and you won't be really seeing the results that you'd like to be from these campaigns. Because the thing with Google as well, the Google ads, you have to give enough room for the algorithm to spend your budget. And then once it understands the type of consumers that are likely to convert, from that point, you can really narrow down and actually hit your target CPA, target cost per action. And when you do, you can also lower your CPC simultaneously. The final point I wanted to cover was actually creating ad assets. So ad assets actually can improve your CPC as well and decrease it. And I'll show you what these are. I'm going to go here. And you have different types of assets. So you can have callouts, basically just the name speaks in itself, a call out. You're telling people about what you offer, trying to motivate them, kind of a call to action as well. Another thing you do need to do is make sure you have advertiser verification, so that you can display your business name and business logo with your performance as well. So that when businesses have their logo and name, it's a lot better than just the internet logo when somebody's just running an ad. Site links are a really, really big thing, because you can link some relevant web pages on your site with your ad. So let's say somebody's doing wants like a certain martial arts class and they're adult and they're a female, maybe they just want to do a women's only class. So if one of your site links are a women's only class, then they can click that. Or maybe you have a site link that's reviews, so people can click through and take a look at the reviews on your website or on the Google page. Again, that way you're still getting traffic to your site, but Google's seeing, okay, like this person's clicking, these people are clicking and engaging with the ad. It's likely that the CPC is going to lower as well, just through the algorithm recognizing that. Okay, structured snippets, that's like snippets of text. So you can say your service catalog, for example, like different things you offer, like at least for martial arts gyms, what I'll write is like Muay Thai, martial arts, fitness, for example. It depends on the gym. But again, these are all really important to include, especially I would say the site links, the business name and the business logo, as well as the callouts and the calls. Most of these are really, really important to have because they can just give consumers more info when they're looking at your ad. And if Google's seeing that you're having a higher click-through rate, chances are your keyword quality score is probably going to be higher and you're going to be having a lower CPC as well. Okay, so that wraps up today's video on how to lower your Google Ads CPC. I hope that was helpful for you. If you can, please leave a like for me, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much.